From Homa Bay County, we head to the corridors of justice where former NHIF boss, that is Dr. Richard Kerich, can now have a sigh of relief after he was acquitted on Friday of the charges of defrauding the insurer of 116 million shillings. Now, 4 other accused persons charged alongside Dr. Kerich were also acquitted, ending the decade trial. An anti-court sitting in Nairobi ruled that the prosecution failed to prove its case against Kerich. Former NHIF officials Marwa Chacha and David Kipruto Chingi, and 2 directors of Meridian Medical Center Limited, Peter Wambugu and Ndiba Warioko. Ode Francis reports.
A 10-year trial of a corruption case involving former NHIF boss Richard Kerich and 4 others came to an end on Friday, with an anti-corruption court in Nairobi clearing them of any wrongdoing.
So the upshot of this judgment is that I find that the prosecution has failed to prove its case beyond reasonable doubt against the accused persons on all the counts that they have been charged with, and I acquit them forthwith.
The case, which was investigated by the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission (EACC), alleged that Kerich, former NHIF officials Marwa Chacha and David Kipruto Chingi, and 2 other directors of Meridian Medical Center Limited, Peter Wambugu and Ndiba Warioko, conspired to defraud NHIF of 117 million shillings by entering into a contract that was detrimental to the public's interest. The contract, which was signed in 2011, allowed Meridian to provide medical services to civil servants and disciplined forces under the NHIF scheme, despite having no capacity to do so.
That the 6th accused person only had 4 accredited clinics as they, at the time that they entered into an agreement with NHIF for the civil servants and discipline services medical scheme. It is the evidence of PW8 that as at 4th of June 2012, 13 clinics had been inspected but not been placed before the board for approval.
The contract allegedly resulted in a massive loss of funds from NHIF, as Meridian was paid for services that were not rendered or were substandard.
It is therefore my finding that the outpatient pilot scheme of 7th of December 2009 to 7th of June 2010 is distinct from the civil servants and discipline services medical scheme, and no stretch of imagination can merge the 2 and purport that one is an extension of the other.
After a lengthy trial that involved 28 witnesses and hundreds of exhibits, Milimani Magistrate Esther Nyutu ruled that the prosecution had failed to prove its case beyond reasonable doubt. She said that there was no evidence of conspiracy, fraud or abuse of office by the accused, and that the allocation of members of Meridian was done by an actuarial officer who was not charged. She also said that the amount of money claimed by the state was not verified by an actuarial scientist who testified as a witness, and that the prosecution had not explained how 4 Meridian facilities were assigned 30,092 civil servants and discipline forces, while Meridian had only 4 accredited facilities out of the 17.
It is the testimony of PW8 that out of 17 Meridian clinics that had been inspected, only 4 were declared through legal notice number 171 of 2nd of October 2019.
She further noted that EACC had not established any criminal intent by the accused, but rather negligence, which was not sufficient to sustain a conviction. Nyotu's verdict was met with jubilation by the accused, who had been out on bail since 2012. The acquittal of the accused raises questions about the quality of investigations and prosecutions by the EACC and the Director of Public Prosecutions (DPP), and the accountability of public officials and private entities involved in the management of public funds. Ode Francis, KTN News, Nairobi.
Still ahead on Weekend Prime, celebrating the taxmen and women, President Ruto awards outstanding KRA officers and advises them to be humane to Kenyans.